Okay, y'all, looks like we're live. First of all, good evening. Good evening, Baltimore, D.C., Virginia, the world. Y'all know who we are. This is a show that we call, once again, now I've learned, this is not what I call anything. It's what we call, I'm Party Marty, Let's Talk. We are a group of persons with different opinions that's coming to you from our different locations. We got people from Baltimore, D.C., we got people in here from North Carolina, got them from everybody where information is power. First shout out to our producer, Donnie Glover, and Be More News. I always get that wrong now. I got it blackusa.news. Now, CC, don't laugh at me. I know I finally got it right. I keep calling it blackusa.net, but it's blackusa.news. He's the producer of this. This is a talk show that we talk about various topics. Um, what we always do, we get started, is get our praying. We're a praying group. Prayers not much. If you don't know our format is if you're a sports person off PTI, everybody gets to talk about 10 minutes or so on their topic. Anybody can join in. We let the person that's talking about their topic finish first, not all the way. Anytime you want to jump in, because that's what they're on the topic for. But we have a lot of opinions. You know what I mean? Nobody on our panel is scared or shy. Scared and shy don't work in our world. Now, that being said, let's go off to our quick little prayer. After our prayer, we have a moment of silence and then we get into business. Okay, quick prayer, everybody. Father God, thank you for the wonderful things that's going on in all our lives. Father God, we pray for the persons that's dealing with this sickness pandemic. Father God, we pray for the people over there fighting the God-forsaken wars while we sit home and eat bonbons and play and do podcasts. Father God, special prayer to blackusa.news, bmorenews.com, and we'll even throw in their producers, Donnie Glover, who's an avid individual who's working hard to make a change, and he's trying to make a change through us. So, Father God, please keep us and him in this circle. Now, Father God, we ask these blessings and all blessings. Right now, we'll pause for a moment of silence. Moment of silence, please. Okay, amen. All right.
Amen.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, good evening, good evening to the field. Everybody's looking chipper and bright and sunshiny and all that good stuff, and I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to start off this evening myself. I usually let everybody jump in, but I'm going to start. My topic tonight is carrying gossip. Carrying gossip. Who's part of that? Who's part of that? Running around telling stories and you don't know. Excuse me. Y'all know something about me, Party Marty. I ain't ashamed of that. Water comes to my heart, sometimes comes out my eyes. My wife and people saying because I'm being so tough being Party Marty, sometimes God melted my heart. Because I was such a thug and as Gina Lee knows me as Take a Break and all that kind of stuff, being West Side certified for so long, I missed out on summer life. I really did. I missed out on summer life being tough, being cool, being hip and stuff like that. And do yourself a favor. Put your kids in there and let them know. Try not to miss out on that. But let me do this. This'll do this first. Alexa, play music.
Here's a playlist you might like. Rediscover the
Alexa, stop. CCB tried that. I did it wrong. I said the wrong thing.
You did.
Okay. All right, well, let's do it again. Alexa, play DMX, Lose My Mind. Up in here, up. Give a hand out to DMX, y'all. Hands up for 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 DMX. There we go. Alexa, stop. First of all, we got a gentleman that's out here on life support. DMX, y'all, we know suffered a heart attack. Could be anything. But now the gossip is DMX is suffered a heart attack and he's had an OD and all this foolishness. How do we know what he had? Let's talk about some points and stuff that I have to offer that I've learned from my panel. First of all, DMX had a heart attack. That's all we know. Right now, he may be he's in tough position. Excuse me, a little beat up here. You know what I mean? But he has 15 children. He's now 50 years old. It's going to take a lot for him to get out of this or get over this. He may never be the same again in life, and he may die. But the last things that we always hear about everybody, excuse me, I don't give a damn about how he died. I don't give a damn about the conversation. Did he go back out again? Especially for me, who all y'all know my story. West Baltimore, ex dope fiend, crack addict, jailbird thug. Once again, Party Marty, ex West Baltimore, dope fiend, crack addict, jailbird thug. People don't give up on people before the miracle happens. Don't give up on everybody before the miracle happens, and don't figure out everything they did wrong all the time. This is a good man. He dealt with his addiction a long time. He came out of rehab, was out of rehab 6 days, and went back into rehab himself because he wasn't ready. If somebody out there is in my voice right now that's listening, Donnie, click. All right, Tiffany, sit still for a minute, please. You're getting me dizzy. All right, it's people out there now that carry so much gossip about everybody. It doesn't make any sense. I heard him talking there. Yeah, DMX went got high again. He messed himself up. How the hell you know? How you know what that man did? Always got some old gossip about everybody. Me and Al work together. We know these people at Perkins live off gossip. That's their strong point. Talking about everything and everybody. I got a word for what I call them, Al. Snakes. Snakes. What about them snakes and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
So moving right along from my point, don't give up on these people for the miracle happen. Stop thinking that everybody was like they are. I'm fortunate now. I have a lovely home in Randallstown. I have homes in West Baltimore. I have a beautiful wife. I have a great income. I'm retired from the state of Maryland. I'm collecting Social Security. I've lost weight. I'm no longer a diabetic. I no longer take high blood pressure pills. Good for Party. Good for Party. So stop there. Get Party a hand. Get Party a hand. You know what I mean? That's our panel. If anybody know we doing our panel, we give people hands and shout outs and stuff. But don't ever forget, I used to weigh 131 pounds with a 29 waist, strung out on dope, coke, and ready, sitting in Hagerstown. So don't tell me about U-turns and how things can change. We don't know what happened with DMX. Pray for him. Got a bunch of holy roly Bible toters over there in the corner, Karen Tate and Nicole and them. They're holy roly Bible toters. I mean, they'll hit you in the mouth too. Their name Tates, don't get them wrong. But listen at me. You stop spending your time figuring out everything that people are doing wrong and just pray for people.
That's right.
All right, y'all. I had to get that off my chest because somebody was telling me, isn't that something with DMX did? Boy, need to get himself together. And you sitting over there with a fifth of Hennessy in your hand at 20 minutes after 9 in the morning.
Yeah, because people don't understand people's demons. They got demons.
People that have never dealt with disease of addiction, they don't really understand it. You know, they look at it through a judgmental lens. But for somebody like yourself who has firsthand experience, you know, I was looking at television the other day and I saw an interview with Hunter Biden. And he was talking about how when his family did an intervention for him and he ran out the room, his father chased him and hugged him and told him he just don't know what to do. You know, he don't know what to do to help him. And he said the only thing that he could think about in that moment was what lie he could tell his father to get away so he could go get high again. You know, he said not even the love of his family was strong enough for him to overcome his addiction. So it's a serious disease, you know, and people have to treat it as such. We don't look at people with a judgmental eye if they say they have a heart problem. We don't look at them with a judgmental eye if they, you know, got high blood pressure. It's a disease. It's a sickness, just like anything else. And we need to try to be a little more empathetic with the people that are going through that. The man is laid up in the hospital on life support. Don't know if he'll ever make it back to his 15 children. So we should be praying for that, and we should be focused on that instead of the hows. It doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter why. All that matters is that it's 15 children that may possibly lose their father.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I'm gonna jump in as the Holy Roly Bible toter, as Uncle Maurice always says. is what the representing the church. What did Christ do? He didn't hang out in church. He hung out among the people. His whole purpose was for everybody to have a part of who he was and who he is. That's the whole purpose. But Christians have lost sight of that. Once they get themselves together, now they're cleaned up. So then they look at people with a judgmental eye, as you said, because I'm not that way anymore, and they're all pious. But that's not the point. The point is you got to be where the people are. You got to have empathy. The whole reason for Christ coming is for salvation for everybody.
Real talk. You know, we that gets that segues into when Al was talking about Kurt Franklin and his son. Here's a man that his son probably drives the nicest car, always lived in the nicest home, everything going for him. But as soon as he's not happy with his father, he records what his father says, puts it on the internet to give him a black eye. You know what I mean? We do whatever we want at times and think that it's okay. You know what I mean? As people say, people believe in God, but they don't believe God. Right. You think just because you got by with that, nobody saw you. You don't think that he saw you do that. You're gonna be held accountable for what you did. You know what I mean? You know how many people that y'all work with, snakes and stuff like that. Y'all be okay with them. All of a sudden, now they the boss. They're gonna treat everybody greasy and stuff like that. Think they're not gonna be held accountable for that. Me and Al come from a different world. I mean, me and Al come from the same world that's probably different than a lot of y'all's, but I don't know. I know Gina comes from there too. But when you do something out the way with us, we solve everything. We hit you in your damn mouth. You want a whole bunch of conversation, a bunch of slick stuff, we hit you in your mouth. You know what I mean? Smart out your mouth, blood on your shirt. That's what my brother, Andre, rest in peace, Andre, Arnie, Barney would say, their father and grandfather, slick out your mouth, blood on your shirt. You'll solve that, but people now can get by with so much stuff. They got a name to put on everything. Oh, it's the Me Too movement. Oh, it's because you prejudiced. Oh, it's because you don't like me. No, it's because you a gossiping snake and you ain't no good. That's what it is sometimes. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's you.
We need to pray for DMS because my thing is you don't know what type of demons that man fighting with.
Right.
You know, this man have a long line of, many years of addiction since he was a child, since he was a teenager. You know, I read it. He had a book out in the late 90s talking about his life story and stuff he'd been through and stuff like that. You know, and my thing is this, I had family members, I even had friends that had, fought with addiction. That animal is something. That's a hard beast to fight. And my thing is you can't sit back and say, oh, you shouldn't did this or you shouldn't did that. You don't know what that person dealing with. You think that person want to feel like that? Think that person want to be down and out and got to depend on that drug that lift them up? No, they don't want that money. They try, but like I said, don't be the judge and the juror. How about try to be a helper?
I think about one of our panel members, Frank and Brittany. Frank, who's not with us today, he's still doing with the spring break, dealing with kids, because a lot of y'all have kids to deal with. And he made mention when we was talking about mental illness a show or two ago. And did you hear him come out, looked at the camera and said to himself, my family's dealing with mental illness. My cousins have mental illness. You feel me? But all they do is lock them up. Yeah. All they do is lock them up. Y'all know the story. My wife will laugh when I say this. I started taking my dog with me. Well, my dog, Cookie, is a big dog now. She's 2 years old. But when she was a puppy, when she used to act up, she would chew up stuff or do stuff wrong. And Cece, to train her, which I didn't know had to be done, trained her, put in a cage. You feel me? Put in a cage so she don't chew up this, so she don't do up that. What did I see? All I know is every time I got in trouble from training school, Boys Village, Cheltenham, City Jail, BCCC, overnights in the penitentiary, Hagerstown, the Butler Building Annex, Central Laundry. Every time they didn't understand what I was doing and they got sick of me, they put me in a cage. It didn't make me better. Al. Now, Gina Lee could say this. Larry Walls taught us, you beat them bad enough, they'll leave you alone. Beat them bad. And at one time, I was a mild-mannered person. I was okay. Started going to jail, and I found out, man, don't nobody care who you are. Don't nobody care nothing about you and your tears. Don't nobody care nothing about your feelings. Larry Walls, rest in peace. We was one day as we talk about fighting them White Lock boys. And I said, man, tomorrow it's gonna be a tough day, man. They gonna come back, they gonna do this, they gonna do that. Larry Walls, Gina said they ain't coming back. I said, man, them boys gonna be back. Man, we gave them a beating that day. I mean, a gang fight, a war fight. It's like 15 of us fighting 30 of them, but we fighting and we'll cheat. Gina and all them is lifeguards. When we losing in the swimming pool party, what we do at the swimming pool, what we do, y'all? Take them to the pool. We grab them, get in the water. You get in the water, you gonna lose with us because we swim for a living. Yeah. We swim for a living. Take them to. But anyhow, Larry Wall said something to me. I guess I was about 17 years old, and he said this, and I remember that now, and I'll never forget it. Beat them bad enough, Al, they'll leave you alone, right? Beat them bad enough, y'all, they'll leave you alone. That's the sad part. What being incarcerated, going to jail taught me. One up them. You know what I mean? You hit me, hit you with a bat. You know what I mean? Kill my cat, kill your dog, whatever, that kind of stuff like that. And the other 6 dogs in the yard next door. You know, so we have demons that people don't know. Look at y'all seeing my demons now. I done got excited about this. You know what I mean? But these are topics that I touch on because this is what I know about. I'm not like y'all geeky panel that read all day and read books with no pictures and stuff like that. I'm happy for y'all.
I think about all the times well, I didn't get it a lot, but I'm thankful for it because it trained me to grow up to be the age I am now.
Exactly.
The little butt whippings or whatever. The generation that came up with the timeouts, where are they?
Yeah.
What
timeout?
They on medicine. I bet you the ones that got their butt kicked ain't in jail.
Yeah, Karen said, yeah. Well, they on medicine. And guess what? Real talk. Once I got off drugs, and got myself together, by me being anchored in Jesus, there was a cloud all over it. By me being raised in the church, by me being with my mother, Holy Roly Bible told her, by me going to Sunday school and stuff like that. Once I got myself off of that, God just took my little dusty ass and shook me 2 times. Party. Shook me 2 times. I ain't never looked back. I ain't never look up because I had that anchor. So information is power. Moving right along, y'all. Let me get the show started because guess what? The show already got started. Tonight it got started by me. That's a good thing. Hey, y'all. Well, let's change the panel some. We'll jump into Rosanna, Dana, Anna. If y'all don't know how we do this thing out there in TV land, I hit y'all with my smooth line as I segue in. I say, hey, Gina, what's your topic today? I'm Party Marty. Let's talk.
Well, good evening, everybody. I just want to say that this is Gina Lee reporting in for Let's Talk. I got 2 topics today. I wanted to, first of all, praise the epitaph that you gave last week for your friend, that Maurice, that you gave to your friend that brought you to the Arabers profession. And I thought that, I said, people see Arabers going through the streets and so forth, but do we really know where that came from? So I said, well, and I love history. So I said, let me just delve into it a little bit and give you a little insight on Arabers. So, we all know that Arabers are merchants who travel through the streets selling their goods and, today, mostly fruits and vegetables. And, but years ago, they may have been selling rugs or linens in the summertime. They may have been selling ice, and in the wintertime, they may have been selling coal for the furnace, things like that. Now, the word Arab originated in England in the 19th century, and it was derived from young kids selling their wares. They were homeless, selling whatever they could find door to door. but people called them street Arabs or city Arabs. Now,
Okay.
of course, the Arab term is racist and classist to begin with. So Baltimore adopted the term, but we changed the vernacular and called them Arabers. Okay. Now, in 1875, the city council banned Arabers from ringing doorbells because people found them to be annoying.
Okay.
But then in the 1900s, two things converged. One was the immigration of people from Europe to Locust Point and the migration of African Americans from the South to the North. And a lot of them came and not able to find jobs, so they started peddling for themselves. Now, back then, initially, Arabs were black and white.
Okay.
But then, when World War II came in 1939, a lot of the white Arabs went on to work in the military factories for the war. And the black Arabs, because they couldn't work in the factories simply because they were black, stayed as Arabs, and they took over the white Arabs' carts and horses and so forth and continued the profession.
Okay.
Now, since we just got out of Women's History Month, I thought I'd kind of highlight an African American woman who's been doing this for a long time. Her name was Mildred Allen. I don't know if you are familiar with her. She was the first woman, an African American woman, to own a stable and Arab here in Baltimore. Now, they tried to shut her down. They did everything they could, but because she was servicing the community hid her out. They wouldn't let the inspectors come in and shut her down. So, just to let you know, she was a very strong-willed woman. She was originally from Virginia, but she brought her whole family up here. She had 9 children, 7 of them were boys, and she put them all to work. She could drive a 14 horse-drawn carriage herself, by herself. And she opened up a storefront, and with that money is how she bought her horses. She had a stable. One was on Calhoun Street, behind Rocco Street, where the ice house used to be.
Yeah.
And then she opened up one on Bruce Street. She called it Bruce Street Stable. And she went on, until she was about in her 60s because it was very hard work. But then she passed it on to her sons. And her daughter is running it today.
Yeah, we call her D. Her
Dorothy
name is
Johns.
D. We call her Miss D. I know her personally, my good friend. We call her Miss D.
What was her
she's
name?
running the Bruce stable. That's been there
What
for
was her name?
100
Oh, Gina. What was her name again?
Dorothy Johns.
Dorothy Johns.
Yes. And she's the only female stable owner running, Arabber. She's the only one. And she said, it's hard being in this game. It really is. Originally there were dozens of stables, but in the 1980s there were only 15, and now it's only a handful of stables. So the city of Baltimore has gotten together, and because the stable on Bruce Street was starting to fall apart, they've actually donated money to help with the renovation of this stable because it's been there for 125 years. They're hoping that with the renovation, it'll be here for another 125.
Gina, that was an awesome point, and that touched home. Thank you very much. When it's all over with, I got to do my thing. Miss D is a personal friend of mine. When you rent horses from Party Marty's Moon Bouncers, you get them from Miss D. That's who I get my horses from, Miss D. When we came, when our Arab we came along, it was Miss D. It was Yachty Stable that was on North in Pennsylvania, up there at the top. You had Blue Stable that was down there by Preston Street. You had the White Stable, we only called it because that's where we used to go down there and get bird feed. And then you had the big boys. So I came along, and once again, shout out to Stinky Blue that had me running through history, and I didn't even know it, Gina. That was very informative. Wait till I see Miss D. We call her Miss D. Wait till I see Miss D and tell her what I found out on I'm Party Marty. Let's talk about her daughter. Before I segue into the next one, because Gina, you have 2 topics. I'm gonna come back on your second one. Before I leave, I got to give you my quick one. My wife is getting ready to shake her head, but you know, watermelon bread to the rind. Watermelon, try some of mine.
Yeah.
She is born in Alabama. They got shipped to Tennessee. If you're talking watermelon, you should be talking to Party Money. Oh, red. They're red to the rind. Come and try mine. You'll find my watermelon's red to the rind. Last verse. Hey there on the second floor. What you trying to do? If you get fruit, I will bring it to you. My watermelon's all red. Red to the rind. Come and try mine. You'll find. Hat tip. Get party hand. Get party hand, panel. Get party hand. Hey, listen. I found out something. Stinky Blue. Shout out.
He did it too quick because I was getting ready to tell him don't do it.
I didn't do bad. I cut it off at time. Listen, but real talk. Real talk. Hey, y'all, I just found out something too. When we look at being an Arab as a kid, it was something to be ashamed of. When we looked at Arab, it was something to be ashamed of. When you're going around with the horse, that's why I wouldn't do it till Stinky Blue threw that money down. I followed Stinky Blue for $5. He had me for 2 years. Just $5. Because I always followed that money. I always chased that money. I always did. I ain't know no better. I had paper routes. I had corner stores when I grew up. Y'all know ice cream trucks, hot dog cars, Twila know Party Marty's, Moon Bouncers, Party Marty's, mobile car washes, TNT. I've been chasing money all my life. I always have done that. That's what I do. Gina just told me that I was in a profession that was not a little boy running around being dirty with a stinky horse. It was a profession that black and whites did, but whites had an opportunity to get out of it. You know why the black people stayed in it? Because it was good money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all.
Your own boss.
I counted my own money. I stopped at the store and got whatever I wanted. Every day they paid me cash during the day. And I learned how to hustle. You know what I learned? We get ready to get slow now. Watermelon, that's $3. 2 for $3. They would always get 2. If not, I'm going to take it back and get rid of it. You feel me? I'm going to lose this money. Now, bananas get ready to get old. What they call it now? The special? We started the special. Boy, bananas $1, 2 for $1.
That's the manager's special.
That's the manager's special. We can talk about this because it's almost legal. I told somebody about the weed. Man, the store got, what I say, hey, what kind of store do you get that from? See, what is it called when you buy weed? What is it? The dispensary. Dispensary come over there. They got the best weed. Get the Stinky Blue weed or get the double Spider-Man. Guess what they do? Whatever weed selling slow, golly tomorrow is the weed on special, and they renamed it Killer. What they doing, Emerson and Bryce, y'all? I got my dope called Gotta Have It. It's the same dope you had yesterday that wasn't no good. We gave it a new name. You know what I mean? That's all we do. Gina Lee, thank you very much on that, and rest in peace, Stinky Blue. Okay, let me segue in now. Let's put the newcomers straight up in there since y'all done had y'all turn the tape panel to hear how we do this. Kern, wait a minute. Y'all just now became the first participants, y'all two, in the new line. When I segue in, when I say, let me segue in, I'm Party Marty, let's talk. Gina, tell them what they're supposed to say then.
This is Karen Tate reporting on Let's Talk.
Okay. All right, y'all. I'm Party Marty. Let me segue in. Nicole and Karen, what's y'all topic for tonight? Let's talk.
Go ahead.
What you got to say first?
This is Nicole reporting. Let's talk.
Give him a hand. Give him a hand. New people, give him a hand. Give him a hand. New people, give him a hand. All right, let's go, Nicole. What's your topic tonight?
Thank you. So my topic is about stimulus, the stimulus bill.
Okay.
I loved how Gina brought up about entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And so I wanted to get into the stimulus bill, but let's go beyond the $1,400 stimulus check that everyone knows about. We all know about that, right?
Right.
So the bill is thousands and thousands of pages, but with every subcategory, they go specific about benefits that we can take advantage of. So I'm just going to talk about entrepreneurship, talk about small businesses, because I have several small businesses. My whole family is about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about one of the things for entrepreneurship under the bill. First, I want to talk about the PPP loan, payroll protection loan. And it's a forgivable loan. So sometimes when people hear loan, they're like, no, I don't want it. But if you read and you see how it's forgiven, there's no reason why you have to be skeptical about a loan. Now, I'm in several different groups, financial groups with entrepreneurs, and there are a lot of people that are applying for these loans, but there are a lot of people that are applying wrong. Mm-hmm. I just want entrepreneurs out there to know that there is a right way to do it where you can win. So me, myself, I've applied and received funding for the PPP, and which was great. It was very much needed, but I didn't want to stop at me. I wanted to go to my hairstylist who works as a sole proprietor and help her out. I thought it was important to go to friends of mine that are Uber drivers and Lyft drivers and let them know, because it's not just your brick and mortar businesses. Mm-hmm. So, and depending on your income that you've made from your business, that depends on how much you're able to take away from it, up to $50,000, which can be totally forgivable. So that's one thing. The next thing is called the EIDL grant. They have a loan and they have a grant. So the EIDL grant will put $10,000 into your business, into your bank account. And one of the benefits from this second bill that we have, actually a third bill that we have that just passed, is that they're doing an additional $5,000. Now, it doesn't take much to qualify for these things, but because people don't know, you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. So I want to get the word out to entrepreneurs. If you filed a Schedule C as a sole proprietor, or you did your taxes just straight on with your business, you have a bank account with your business name on it. And if you are a sole proprietor, your name can be your business name. They don't, for the PPP loans, they don't credit check. It's not based on credit. In this third stimulus bill, because there were a lot of reports of minorities not being able to take advantage of these loans and these grants, and they were being pushed aside. So the wording that Biden put in, it erased the credit part. So it's not based on your credit. So I would just encourage everyone, if you need more information about it, you can find me at My UB Creations on Facebook.
Say it slow. Say it slow. What is it?
My UB Creations, or at My UB Creations, and that's on Facebook and Instagram. You can also email me at myubcreations with an S at the end at gmail.com. And I'll be more than happy to go over what you need to do in order to apply for these benefits.
Well, Miss
First of
Tate, I
all,
will definitely be reaching out to you.
let me tell
Okay.
you something. First of all, good thanks, Al. First of all, awesome topic. First timer. See you. The hit. Now, let everybody in the panel tell you you just made a mistake. Because what do I tell them now? See you next Tuesday. See, once you do a good job and you informative on this panel, all these people poke their head in there for me one time, and then I gotta cook dinner. I gotta do that. Tiffany over there riding a bicycle trying to get on there, trees all over the place. You know what I mean? Because yeah, I hit them. You know, we giving up information. If you out there in the audience and you listen to stuff like that, you may have learned something. Listen to this, Nicole. Nikki, I call you. Check us out. Cece and I, right, baby? Everybody's been telling us to go off to get these little loans, and we always thought about it, didn't we? But Cece and I, we're up in the age and we're retired, and we're afraid of somebody checking behind us, right, baby? We're afraid of that. You know what I mean? We know we make good money, and my business is definitely affected by this. There's been no moon bounces in over a year. I still pay for the warehouse. I still pay the gas and electric over there. I still have to pay insurance on my business. I still have to pay. I retired. I did not just stop working and say, all right, I ain't gonna work no more. I'm gonna sit back and eat bonbons. I got a young, pretty wife and chill. When I retired, I had 20 years state service. I was fully credited and I was getting my Social Security. My wife is young, looks young, but my wife is retired from the state with 20 years service. She's getting her full everything. So we figured we was good. I went back to work, Nicole, not because of the mortgage, not because of our gas and electric, not because of the telephone, not because of the boat, not because we need to shop and eat. I went back to work because Marty's moon bouncers needed money to stay afloat. Stay afloat. I kept taking, if anybody on this panel doesn't know, anybody out there in the society of listeners that we're listening to doesn't know, I don't give a damn how much money you have. If you keep taking it out and spending it on anything and you not putting it out, your ass can go broke. I'm more afraid of being broke than I am of being dead. Like I'm saying, I'm an ex-drug addict. So I know what it's like to go to bed at night at 8 o'clock at night because I finally got my $6 in my hand for my go shot in the morning. And I ain't gonna spend that $6 because I'm gonna be sick in the morning if I don't have it. So I ball that $6 up, put it in my hand like this, and go sleep and keep waking up whatever I can because I was afraid not to have that $6. That's my story. Now, me and Cece now thought that we would be situated, everything would be fine. But because I own Marty's moon bounces, Nikki, I had to go back to work. And when everybody started getting them loans, Cece, we were afraid, right? We were
Yep.
afraid because the first thing what we started saying, if something go wrong, it's easy to catch us. We own property.
Right.
Well,
But the thing,
one thing, Nicole, is that a lot of Black people that own small businesses, especially, we have this innate fear of the government. So our first thing is that we don't want the government in our business. You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
don't know. We may not have intentionally done nothing wrong or paid less taxes than we were supposed to did, or paid the people that cut the grass with cash and they didn't file any taxes or whatever. But every little thing will go through their minds. So I think that was another fear of a lot of small African American business owners, is that they just didn't want Uncle Sam in their business.
absolutely. And I totally understand that. And the thing about it is, I think about our family, how it's, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in our family.
Right.
And there is a right way and a wrong way to do business. You either hustling backwards or you hustling forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really beneficial not to maybe like go get your LLC or file,
That's me.
do a 1099
That's
for
me.
yourself and
That's you,
file
Al.
taxes. But you know what? If I think about our community and I think about other communities and how they're able to get ahead, it's with the smallest things.
It's with things that are there that's just, you just got to look a little further to uncover it. How are they gaining this wealth? And we have to know within ourselves, within our business, that we have integrity. And so while people are talking about, oh, I'm afraid to do this, I'm afraid to do that, one of the reasons why a lot of people in our community and outside have been doing fraudulent activity trying to get these loans. They're not doing it the right way. But when you're doing it the right way, and you can dot your I's and you can cross your T, which is not always easy. And like people like us, we may feel intimidated sometimes. But you know when you're on the up and up, and as long as you're on the up and up, you're gonna be okay. One other thing that I want to say is that the PPP was extended. It was supposed to end March the 31st. And it has been extended by Congress until May the 31st. So if you wanted to get your applications, you get it in. It took me personally about 15 days turnaround from applying to being funded. It goes to the SBA, so it's all on the up and up. And once again, just hit me up. Get in touch with me if you need more information.
Nikki, we got you. Great job. Welcome to our panel and all that kind of good stuff. You know, me and Al are going to be hitting you because we're going to talk about that. Al already said he needs to talk about it, so we appreciate what you're doing. Welcome to the show. Awesome job. I want to say this now as I segue in. This is one of the reasons, if y'all don't know, the person over top of you, Miss Twala Muhammad, I met Twala Muhammad through one of my best friends. His name is Nick. Well, while I got it on my mind, let me say hi to BB, Brenda Bailey, who always on the show. Let me say hi to Carl. Let me say hi to Max. You know what I mean? Let me say hi to Gloria's lovely wife, Frank and Brittany, who's out there listening all the time, Miss Sherman, all the avid listeners and stuff like that. And my 50-year friend, you know what I mean, Irvin Reed. It's always on there. He'll be on there when we talk some politics. Let me tell you how funny things are. Nick's supervisor, she never talks about it because I guess she don't want to be there, but Twila was Nick's boss. Twila was a gang of people there, boss.
I was not his boss.
Yeah. She don't say that, but all I know is he went in our office. Anyhow, she was the boss. But check us out. He told me about her. I said, Party, I got somebody that can help because I just know how to drop moon bounces off. I'm out in the trenches. Cece know how to answer the phone. Cece know how to take payments and all that kind of stuff. But I love my wife, but she don't support me all the time. I ain't going to say that because she might be listening. But Cece will tell you in a minute, you ain't working me to death all the time. Cece stays on vacation. You can't run the business if you're on vacation.
Wait a minute. Before I let him continue with his story, let's define support. Okay.
Cece,
we already had this conversation about teaching the man how to fish.
Cece, let me ask you this. I'm going to say this to the panel, and I'm going to move along before I get in trouble. In May, Cece's going to Florida for Women's Day. In June, Cece is going to Virginia just to ride roller coasters at what's it called? King's Dominion or something like that. In September, we're looking at going to Hawaii. In October, you're going where? To Jamaica, right?
Absolutely.
Well, tell me when I lie. You can't run a business if you're out of town, Cece. Matter of fact, excuse me.
There's where the misconception comes in. You're running the business. You said I'm supporting. See, I knew you didn't know the difference.
When I had Twila used to run my company years back, and let me tell you, when I hired Twila, first she just did it for a week or two because I was going out of town, and then I hired her. Let me tell you what so impressed me so much about Twila. The day that she came over and wrote the receipts and had the little carbon paper between it, that's nothing to the world, but that was the go-to for me. Everything that she wrote, she put it on it, and she put a carbon paper between it, and then the next sheet. So there was always an extra piece of paper. There was always a receipt for everything she did. Donnie says a record. She had a record on everything she did. You could ask her. Then one day, she was gone somewhere, so she said, I'm going to leave the book with you. I didn't know what the book meant. She left me a book The book had every single party she had ever picked up, every single party she had wrote, every single party she had done. I said to myself, she gonna ask for more money. She gonna ask for more money. She knows she done put the business in the right direction. See, she wasn't in the business then. But I just want to, reiterate, using throwing my word in there, Nicole, on what you were talking about, how you need to be prepared. That's one thing I liked about Al. The first thing when you said something about not having an LLC and all that, I like to God be the glory. I like the way Al came right out there with his business and said, "Yeah, you talking about me? That's me."
And I can help you with it.
And at the same time, wouldn't he turn around and say, "The Tate family, I'm gonna be giving y'all a call." Well, from one of the Tates who's got the inside track on the Tates, because what you're looking at, talking to is my niece. No, she's not my niece. Maybe my great niece. I don't know. We got so many. I get confused with that. But anyway, let's move along because we're having such fun today. Let's segue into Miss Twyla Muhammad. Since I gave you that part about what you were doing, hey, Miss Twyla, what's your topic tonight? I'm Party Marty. Let's talk.
Hey, Party Marty and family.
Hey, Twyla.
I can't remember what Miss Gina said.
But what'd you say, Gina? Nicole?
This is Twyla Muhammad.
You gonna say this is Twyla Muhammad for reporting that for I'm Party Marty. Let's talk.
Okay, let's try it again. All right. Hey, Twyla Muhammad, what's your topic tonight? I'm Party Marty. Let's talk.
This is Twyla Muhammad coming in to, what am I coming in? It's Party Marty. Let's talk. It's been a long day, y'all. I can't remember nothing for 5 seconds, okay?
What's your topic tonight, Twyla?
So my topic is really just about how apathetic our communities are. So I'm gonna give you a little background. So over the spring break, my son he goes to a private school, it's scholarship based, and part of the scholarship we have to complete community service. Both he and I have to do so many hours of community service. And so with school being closed, community service looked different versus inside of a building, right? So we decided to do like a community cleanup, go around to different communities and clean up. And so, which is something that's in me. I grew up on Belvedere and Ricerstown Road. I never understood. My mother used to have us outside the crack of dawn on a Saturday morning, cleaning up the alley, cleaning up the front of the house. And I'm like, why are we doing this? But now as an adult, I understand, right? That's my community. That's where we live. And we should have pride in our community no matter where we live. Good. And so we went in the community where the school was, because we kind of cleaned up in front of our own house and then kind of went to the community where the school was. And so we, I had my son slaving, that's what he would say, right? I had him slaving, picking up trash all up and down Greenmont Avenue, all on 23rd Street, all up and through, right? When you ride through, you just it just looks like a third world country because of all the trash and litter and just upheaval that it is, dilapidated homes. And so we were cleaning up and we had got this one block. I mean, we worked this one block for about an hour and a half. Spick and span, wasn't a spot of trash, no way. And this man came down and threw trash. And I said, sir, do you see the trash can over here? Trash can 2 steps away. I mean, literally 2 steps away. And it was 3 trash cans. And so the guy was like, don't judge me. I'm like, judge you? Sir, this is our community. You see me and my son, we've been out here. I watched the man walk up and down the street 3-4 times, right? I'm like, you see us out here cleaning up? We're trying to take pride in our community, our children are where they have to go to school, where they're going to the community center, the rec center, and you had the audacity, right, to throw this trash when it's like 5 steps to a trash can. And so, it became a lesson on, not only telling my son, the importance of cleaning up your community, but taking pride in where you live no matter what. And that not only do we live in the community of Northwood, but we live in the community of Baltimore City. And we have a responsibility to the entire city to not litter, to, pick up trash when you can. As a result, my car looks like a trash dump, but, we try to do our part in keeping our community clean by not throwing trash. And in this particular community, like I said, there was trash from everywhere. Chick-fil-A, there's not a Chick-fil-A nowhere near Greenmount Avenue. So somebody was right through the neighborhood throwing trash, right? There's not a Popeye's chicken nowhere near Greenmount Avenue, but it was trash from Popeye's all up through the neighborhood. So it's just people taking pride and being less apathetic, when it comes to keeping their community clean, just cleaning outside your door,
That's what I was getting ready to mention, Twyla, that Brenda just brought up about. Remember back in the day, they used to have the Afro clean block.
Yeah, BB.
You know, I grew up on North and Fulton, and my great aunt, she always wanted her block. So when everybody had the tires out front, that's the planters with the little flowers in them, and everybody just it was such a prideful thing for the community.
Right.
Does anybody remember when North Avenue was famous for those beautiful white steps they used to have? And every Saturday, you used to see anybody out there cleaning them steps. Afro Clean Block had the banner out there. CC Step Clean them. See, I forgot. CC came from Fulton Avenue, North Avenue. They would be out there cleaning them steps. That was their claim to fame.
Right.
And they meant that. People.
And that's why it's so funny to look at these kids today, because if they have to do, I mean, that's a good lesson, Twyla, for responsibility for your community. You know, there's a lot of good lessons in there. You know, these kids, everything that they do is a problem for them. I said if they had to live my life when I was a kid, they wouldn't have made it. Every Saturday, without question, you was out there on your knees with that scrub brush and those Ajax, and them steps better be spick and span before you even thought about playing or anything else.
On that note, first of all, good topic, Twyla. I just want y'all to know we talk about a little bit of everything. You know, Nikki wanted to show you how to get grants and stuff. Gina was telling you about where ARAF is found, where they originated. And Twyla just gave you a regular down-home conversation about your nasty ass self. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself. You know, do some little things and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm real talk. You know, if you've been running all day, you can't come in the house. I remember I worked construction, and the guys would get off work and they would put their little clothes on. You know what I mean? And I say to myself, Jack, you ain't been nowhere near a bathroom. We just not finished running jackhammers. You to change your shirt. You don't think you nasty? Marty, you gonna use up a lot of time. I got you. Well, it was a comedian back in the day, Donnie. I think they made Dolomite. They used to. No, it was Red Fox. He said you got to wash your ass. You gotta wash your ass. Especially if you're a female. You're a female. Get a tendencies to take your time and do stuff a little differently. You know what I mean? That's all. Now, and everybody that's out there listening and stuff like that, BB's an avid listener, but chime in. You see BB hit us with that little Afro clean block. That's another topic. You see, Twyla, everything doesn't have to be DMX or murder or bills and stuff. We talk a little bit about everything. On that, you know what I mean? Karen, I need you to prepare yourself because you need to be able to give that line that everybody keeps giving, my new line that I have now. Now, let's see if you were listening. Nick, let me see if you listen. Okay, now let me segue into Karen. Karen, what's your topic this evening? I'm Party Marty. Let's talk.
This is Karen Tace reporting for Party Marty. Let's talk.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
I just want to talk about here in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Okay.
All the children.
Hoorah!
Hoorah! All the children have gone back to school 5 days a week, from high school, middle school, elementary school. They were doing, 2 days, then Wednesday off, and then the other 2 days AB cohorts. And so I'm a little concerned with everything opening up the way it is, and especially with the children. I mean, and I think I'm glad that people are getting the vaccines, but I think people feel like because the vaccines are plenty is here, and you can just go get it anytime you want to, really. That everything is safe and it's okay. I mean, Nicole is here visiting, and she's just commenting on how people are just walking around everywhere. And I know we mentioned this before, maskless, but just how you were in Walmart yesterday
and today, and they had no mask on, and I'm like, oh,
in Walmart,
in Walmart.
And so now, so all of this is happening in the community, and now all the children are going back to school. Mm-hmm. What do we think is going to happen here?
Right.
And then the different strains. So my concern is, with the children all being, all connect. We had a few schools that were year round where, it was just small clusters. But now we have every single school in the county, and they're doing sports again. They're playing football. They're doing volleyball. They're starting to do track. They did just come back from spring break, but they were doing football before spring break started, because they started football in February this year. So I just don't understand the rationale behind, and I just need somebody to help me with that.
Well, let me
listen. I don't think it's time. I think they're doing too much too soon. I definitely agree with that. When you think about, every state is different. Of course, in Maryland, it's strictly mask. You cannot enter a store without a mask, right? But when it comes to school, how can you socially distance when there are 30 kids in the classroom? You can't.
And some of them are 10 years old. All they know is touch.
Right. And then even in our state, like our kids are beginning to go back to school, or have gone back to school, right? They're doing this where kids are self-administering COVID tests weekly. Like, that's too much. Our kids should not have that sort of obligation or put into that sort of situation if, they have to do those sorts of things to quote unquote protect themselves, right? So
I
think that a lot of this opening everything up so quickly is due to COVID fatigue. Is that people have gotten so tired of sitting in the house, and this whole last year took a toll on us all. So now that vaccines are available, now everybody is in a hurry to get back to what they perceive to be normalcy. But at the end of the day, like Nikki was telling us about the PPP loans and saying that we need to get information. People need to, we touched on this subject before, and I'm sure we'll touch on it many more times, that people need to get they need to get the information that's available to them. Vaccinations are not cures.
no.
Viruses mutate. So that's where all these different strains are coming from. Look at anything that we have known in our lifetime to be a virus. None of it has a cure. They still haven't found a cure for HIV. They still, they can't even cure the flu.
the common cold.
You get a virus, they tell you to go home, lay there, drink plenty of fluids, and let it run its course. And COVID was no exception. So, it's still serious, and people need to, we've been patient this long. We need to be patient a little longer and still continue to be diligent about wearing masks, hand washing, social distancing, all of it.
One second, then, Karen. Wait a minute, Karen. One second, then to you. First of all, this takes us back what Karen was saying. If you think back, what did Frank Tate say, my nephew, when him and Brittany was over there was talking? They get this vaccine and they think they bulletproof. Remember, he made mention that Frank said the biggest problem he had with the vaccine is not taking it, that people think they bulletproof. My wife told y'all when she's talked about the vaccine that it's just designed for you not to die. It didn't tell you you can't get COVID. It told you shouldn't die from it. But it's not make you bulletproof or anything like that. Karen, I apologize. Back to you. Finish up.
You're fine. But exactly to Frank's point that, people think it makes them bulletproof. Because here we are. The vaccines are really just rolling out. They're really just now people are really starting to get them, or even, decide to go get them. School gets out in June. This is April. Why not? Why not just let the vaccines, get fully, people get fully vaccinated. Let that be a time period. Then go back to school and be out for the summer. Then go back to school in the fall. Why?
And that was my thought too, Karen. Why they were so pushing so hard for schools to fully reopen. I'm like, it's almost time for school to close now.
It's about
go ahead and.
I said it's about dollars and cents.
Yeah. Everything is a business, but it's about dollars and cents on one hand, and then out the other side of their mouth, they turn around and tell us nothing is more important than all the lives that have been lost.
They don't care about but this is the thing, outside of the news and just on the ground, regionally, Okay, so I'm in North Carolina right now.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Baltimore. In North Carolina, and I'm an avid shopper, so I get around to all the stores. All of the
avid shopper. That's a good way of putting it.
All of the hand sanitizers, the masks, any type of PPE that is available, especially in Walmart or on clearance. And they here.
Wow.
On clearance, okay? You can find Lysol spray, Lysol wipes, bleach, any type of antibacterial you want. That's readily on the shelves. And when I was at the store yesterday, someone was going around asking about vaccines, if they wanted to get the vaccine. And all the people that I heard from different communities was just like, no, I don't want it. The pharmacist was asking, would you like to get the vaccine? Have you been vaccinated? No, and I don't want it. No, and
that's
I don't
crazy.
Want it. And I'm running back. Well, yeah, give me some information about it. I mean, because in Maryland, we can hardly get it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think it has to go with, where you are geographically. And then also, and I hate to say this, but it's all politics too.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so that's all I'm going to say about that.
It's all about the money. Great topic again, Karen. You know what I mean? Way to hit us with something that we can, listen to and understand from. It's nervous. And, Frank said a while back, and this is one more person that's saying it to you. No matter how you see it, people get this vaccine and think they're bulletproof. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The governor said something real simple, plain and simple. Just wear the damn mask. Just wear the damn mask, but they can't seem to do it. All right, y'all. Moving right along. We're going to let Al get in there. We got our anchor, Al Sleeping Giant. We'll change the pace because, Al's topics are never the topic that we're on. He always got his own little thing, and we usually leave him for the anchor, but we're going to throw him in there now. So, Al, I'm going to see if you were listening. You know what I mean? You may or may not get it. The rest of the panel, Karen showed she could get it. Gina started it. Twyla practiced it. Now, here we go. Hey, check us out, Jack. Watch me as I segue in. Hey, Al, what's your topic for today? I'm Party Marty. Let's talk.
How you doing, everyone?
Hey.
I'm reporting for Party Marty, and my topic for today is about the pandemic. And this to touch on what Miss Karen was talking about. Are we opening stuff up too fast? I like she was saying earlier, like people not wearing their masks. People think they're bulletproof because they're getting the vaccine. Here in Maryland, they just reported that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, they throw a lot of it away because it wasn't no good. And now Johnson & Johnson saying they're gonna take over themselves because where they distributing it from, the warehouse they had here in Baltimore. Yeah. They said they people in to take over now. So my thing is this. My personal opinion is, I think just wear the mask because, like I say, me personally, I'm gonna continue wearing my mask because, like I said,
me too.
I caught COVID back in July, and then it's nothing fun to have. So even though I'm vaccinated,
hold 1 second. This is a great thing right there. Here's a person that said he had it. Now, you know what I mean? You didn't have the symptoms. Tell us again, Al, you said you had COVID before?
I had COVID in July last year.
What was it like?
Be honest with you, I thank God that it didn't hit me like other people because I never gotten a fever, but I had like the aches and pains, and I had the worst migraine headaches out of this world. And I never lost my taste, but I did lose my smell.
Wow.
And at first I thought it was a sinus infection. And at that time, the job was testing us
right.
And so when the job called me saying I was positive, I said, okay. But like I said, the thing I did, I made sure I did my vitamins, I was doing the sea moss, I was doing the elderberry, and I kept moving around. I didn't try to lay on it because I feel like if you lay on that COVID, that's when it builds up in your lungs and it turns into pneumonia. So you got to move around. You know how you got to move around so that cold can break up. so it can come out you. So that was my remedy for me for what I did. But like I said, that vaccine is definitely not brutal. It's just to prevent for you. If you do get it, you won't get as sick as you didn't get it. So my thing is, like everyone said on the panel, slow down. It's gonna come, but be patient. Guess what? We've been going this long. We can go a little while longer.
I can't hear you, Al.
I can hear you. You must be muted. See, I can hear him.
She frozen.
See, you frozen. You got the knockoff computer tonight. I got your good
Everybody
computer.
frozen.
I agree with Al. I agree with Al. I was listening to the radio today, and they were saying, in the beginning of COVID, they were saying the numbers were high among 60 and over. Right now, the numbers are high, and deaths are high among people 20 to mid 40. And so that's that traveling group. They out here living their best life, right? And so we definitely have to be, vigilant and make sure if people in that age group, I kind of fall in that age group too, right? That that you're safe, that you're masking up, that you're not in large crowds, that if you're having family functions, that it's outdoors, that you're not running from here, there, and everywhere, that you're trying to, keep yourself and your kids and your family safe. Not going to clubs, because I say a lot of the population is, unfortunately, right? They're gathering in large groups, they're going out to nightclubs, they're going on vacation, they're not, doing what they know is the right thing to do. And so it's just scary. It's a really, really scary situation.
So let me ask y'all a question. And this is kind of related to the topic, but I'm just curious if anybody else heard this on the news and what your thoughts were on it. That they were saying that certain brands of hand sanitizer have been found to have lethally high amount of some cancer-causing agent in them, and that they were having to pull some of the hand sanitizers off the market. So I was like, now wouldn't that be ironic that all of these people with the hesitancy for the vaccine don't want to get it because they think they're trying to kill you with the vaccine? Wouldn't it be ironic if they killed us with the hand sanitizer?
Wow. I didn't hear that.
And
I didn't hear that.
Hey, Al, that's just why I don't read. That's why I don't read. I was watching Westerns all day. Everybody in the Western got killed with a bullet. Matt Dillon killed him. John Wayne killed him. It's easy. Now, CC tell me, and listen, I wish I could show you every set of car keys I have, Al and y'all from the working out field. CC got a little one of them little portable hand sanitizer hooked to it that I squirt all on my hand all the time. She's killing me and I don't even know.
All I can say about this, you gotta be careful with the information that you receive, because it's a lot of misinformation out here. So you got to be very careful. But
that came from a credible news source, Al. I want you to look it up and then let me know. But I think that it was mainly a lot of those. You see, during the pandemic, a lot of those little cheap hand sanitizers popped up. That was $2, $4. I mean, not Purell or anything like that. The ones we've been using for ages, but a lot of these new ones that popped up, and they was in a bottle that looked like a wine bottle.
Hey, listen. Let me throw this in there for Donnie. Donnie will say right now. She said it came from a credible source. So Donnie would say the internet. I know it's true. I read it on the internet.
It was not the internet. Don't come for me.
I think the ingredient was benzidine.
Okay, I have to look for that. Okay.
There we go, Gina. I was just getting ready to say that.
There's a certain amount that's allowed, but they were
exactly. But they were saying that some of these ones that emerged during the pandemic were using above it's a certain amount of it in all of the hand sanitizers, but there's a safe amount and then there's a no amount. So they said a lot of the ones that popped up during the pandemic were using more than what was allowed to be used.
Well, the best thing to use is soap and water.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Soap and
They
water.
haven't found nothing wrong with soap and water yet, Al.
Yeah. Soap
And
water.
alcohol.
And alcohol.
Yeah.
If
Right.
you're concerned,
Hey.
7% or more higher.
if you're
Al.
concerned, make your own hand sanitizer and hand wipes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Absolutely.
listen. Hey,
It's so
Al.
simple.
Good topic. Way to keep it going. Good points and stuff. Good way to change the mood with that. CC, I know you've been doing a lot of reading today because I saw you over there. You've been working on your topic, and I know that it's something that we need to hear because it's from the internet. Y'all don't know, my wife reads ketchup bottles. My wife reads anything. If it can be read, she will read it. You know what I mean? She just like to read. You know what I mean?
Well,
I
now,
play
BlackUSA.news said it, so you believe it now?
Yeah, Donnie said it. He read it on the
Okay, I
internet.
saw it,
I
yeah.
believe it. Donnie said he read it on the internet. All right, listen, y'all. As we say, let me segue in, y'all. What an awesome panel we have. A lot of good topics tonight, moving right along. Hey, Nikki, we ain't always this wild, but we out here. As they say on the corners of West
Out here in
Harlem,
these streets.
there we go, out here in
These
these
streets.
streets and stuff like that. Hey, here we go. Hey, listen, Jen, let me segue into my wife. All right, baby, you know the thing. I'm Party Marty. What's your topic tonight? Let's talk. See if you're ready.
Okay, I'm CC Tate reporting for Party Marty. Let's talk. And my subject
All right.
today is I just wanted to talk about the voter suppression issue. I wanted to talk
Okay.
about what was going on in Atlanta, Georgia. The new voter laws that they're coming up with to shorten the window for absentee ballots, the
That's
removal
crazy.
of drop boxes in certain areas, the states having more influence in local elections, and even down to the fact that they said it will be against the law to give food and drinks to a person that was standing in line waiting to vote.
That's crazy.
So,
That's crazy.
so all of these things are just really like efforts to, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of others, to suppress the black vote. Because we know what happened with, the runoff races and how close it was, and the Democrats won, and the Republicans were not happy about that. And they're all now, so now they have a lot of other states who are really following suit or jumping on the bandwagon with this. They have 55 bills that are in process in 24 different states that are in line with kind of the same things that Georgia has implemented. And excuse me, the thing is that we trying to see, like, for instance, Lindsey Graham, he was saying that, that the big corporations need to stay out of this, that this is politics and it's not business and all of this. But this is the same person who has many times in the past has supported I said Lindsey Graham. I meant to say Mitch McConnell, excuse me. But they have supported big business being involved in politics. It's okay when they give money and contribute money to their campaign and everything, then they want them to be a full partner, not a silent partner. But now that these corporations, Delta, Coca-Cola, and even Major League Baseball has pulled the All-Star game out of Atlanta and chose to have it elsewhere so that they could take a stand and say that they were against this legislation. So I just thought that it was interesting. I also thought that it was, McConnell being the same hypocrite, like Donnie said, that he's always been. And they just are trying a lot of stuff. They want to move from signature verification to an ID system, for absentee ballots. They just trying to do so many things to keep people from voting. They want to ban the acceptance of ballots that were not, even if they were mailed before election day, if they weren't received before election day, then they want to disqualify those ballots. I mean, so it's so many other states that jumped on the bandwagon. Arizona, it's a few of them. A few of the ones that have been really silent and never speak up on anything. Now they want to jump on this this bandwagon, and I just think that we have to be vigilant and just making sure that we get out the vote. So
CC,
many people. Yes,
excuse me. Did you say that they took the All-Star game from them?
yes.
Do
Major
you know
League
how much
Baseball.
money they
They
just
they said
lost?
that it's estimated that Atlanta would lose $100 million,
Wow.
upwards of $100 million behind that move.
Oh yeah,
So
the All-Star game. People come from all
yeah,
over the world to see the All-Star game. Wow.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, I thought
They
that
moved
was
it
something
to
that was really
Detroit.
relevant and really
Yeah.
interesting and important, to us, especially as black and brown people, that I know that all of us that are here, we know to do our part. But we have to know to just get the word out to people in the community, especially a lot of young people, that we have to, when these elections come up, whether they're local elections, presidential elections, whatever it is, we have to get out here and have our voice be heard, because people lived and died and fought the good fight so that we could have the freedom to have the right to vote. And now, if we don't keep our eye on this and we don't get involved in these movements and try to keep our ear to the ground, that little by little the good old boys are just back there in the background chipping away at our freedoms.
Yeah. Hey y'all, that's these topics are awesome, and that's something I didn't know. See, today's moving an All-Star game. Hit them in the pocket.
Yeah.
You
I
want
mean,
to hurt somebody, Twala?
there's some critical elections coming up. I mean, when you think about
Mm.
Georgia, Kentucky, and some other places, Arizona, these are some critical
Texas.
elections that are Republican led. They're in the Senate, they're, the governors there. So, I mean, they are really trying to do whatever they can to stay in office. So, by any means necessary, they don't care.
Yeah.
That's right. And if we got any friends out there that's Arizona, Michigan, Missouri, New Hampshire, if you're from any of those places, keep an eye on it, because the legislation in those places are heading in the same direction that Georgia went in. They all
And I would
Well,
also say, even if
implement
you're
some of
not
those
in Georgia,
same laws.
even if you're not in Georgia, in Maryland, and actually any other state, we don't realize that when our young people are being incarcerated at a high rate, when different cases we feel like is thrown, people need to understand that we elect judges.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
yeah,
think a lot of people they think about the presidential, they think about the Senate, but there are different offices within the local communities that we have control over. So when you look
Absolutely.
at these different judges in Baltimore County, in Baltimore City, and wherever you are, we have to see what their track record is. We have to see what they're for and what they're against, instead of just going all down the line, as a
Right.
lot of people
And
do.
and just to piggyback on what Nikki is saying, I just encourage everybody that even when you go to vote for these people, do your homework on them. You know what I'm saying? Find out before election day. Find out who's running. Find out what their platform is. Find out what they stand for, what their track record is. Because so many times, and once upon a time, I too was guilty, that when you vote for the president, you vote for all these big offices, but when you turn it over and it say judge for the special court of appeals, you just check. Who the hell knows
yeah,
who the judge is? Like, I don't know who that is. So, but now that when you know better, you do better. I know that that's important. I know to research those candidates. So I just would encourage other people to do the same, because they have a big effect. The people in those offices have a big effect on our day-to-day lives.
yeah. Good point, CC. Appreciate that topic, and that's so true. We got to learn from that. Let's get back to paying some bills. I mean, let's talk about information that we learned. Let's piggyback on that right there. Um, Donnie Glover. We'll use that as an example. Our sponsor is blackusa.news, bmore.com, Donnie Glover Show. He's on from 10 to 11 every morning. We talk politics and important events in the world. And we have a different podcast every night. Monday night is something, Sister Talk. Tuesday night is me. Wednesday is something else. We have a lot of information out here that this brother's trying to put together to give us a platform to talk about. So I urge people to, it doesn't have to be our show. I apologize for saying I won't ever do that again. It doesn't have to be our show that they listen to, but get you some information from somewhere. Everybody on this panel is telling you, just get some information. Have y'all been riding down the street? They don't have any information on the pandemic. Have y'all been riding down the street and see them in the car by themselves with their masks on? Y'all see them?
Right.
They don't even trust their damn self.
Yeah,
they think they gonna get itself COVID. They ride along down the street and they got their masks on. Ain't nobody in the car but them. They got their masks on. They don't trust themselves. You ever see them walking along, they cutting their grass. Ain't nobody there but them. They in the middle of a 40-acre field. Got their masks on, cutting the grass. What is the matter with you people? Get some information about some of these topics. If you want to find out about the wait a minute.
PPP loan.
PPP loan? Ass nigga.
Protection program.
Yeah, something like that. Get some information from somebody. You know what I mean? If you want to find out about daddy issues, ask Al. If you want to find out to pick up behind your nasty, dirty ass, ask Twyla. You want to know when the horses came in? When did we start? When was the last time? And Gina told us in 1956. That's my lifetime. They had black and white only pools. Are you kidding? All I think about is prejudice is 300-400 years ago. Are you kidding? In my lifetime, Druid Hill had a black swimming pool and a white swimming pool. But on that note, just remember, y'all, what we did about it. Gina said that some white people out there, not white, wonderful. Y'all didn't think I knew that move, didn't you? The wonderful people were outside the pool on Riverdale, Riverside, or something like that, throwing bottles at the kids, throwing bottles at the swimmers. And one of those swimmers in there was the Honorable Elijah Cummings. Who knows if that 11-year-old boy decided to be a great leader because he witnessed, she said one of the bottles cut him, because he witnessed discrimination and being attacked. Who knows if that made Elijah Cummings? Who knows? Learn from what happened to you. If something happened to you, learn from it. I walk up Park Heights and I go through Shirley Avenue to go get me an ice cream cone and they bite me. Boys jump on me. Where you from? Guess what? I know tomorrow not to take my dumb ass through that alley on Shirley Avenue. I learned from that. But stuff happened to people, they don't learn from nothing. They don't learn from anything. Get some information. You ain't always got to read a book. Listen at a podcast. Turn on the news. Do something like that to get some information. All right, we moving right along. Gina had 2 topics. Gina, you got 4 minutes. What's topic number 2 while we segue in? Gina, you muted or you know what? That's something. Gina, keep that thought for a minute. I don't know if y'all be noticing the mics going in and out, muted, and what's that? Let me tell you something. That's Donnie at work. We think that it's just he get over there and turn the switch on, and then it's a podcast. It's more to it than that. You got to mute this, swing this over there for that to work, take this people in, turn your phone sideways. It's a lot to being the producer of this. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to Donnie that's doing a good job that he's doing and everything like that. We appreciate you. I apologize. Gina, what's your second topic tonight?
Okay,
Wait a minute. As I segue in, Gina, I'm Party Marty. What's your topic? Let's talk.
This is Gina Lee again reporting from Let's Talk.
Okay.
In the Billie Holiday house.
Okay.
Now, a lot of us thought that Billie Holiday was born Billie Holiday, but her birth name was Eleanor Baby. She's born in 1915, and again, we thought she was born here in Baltimore. but she was actually born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Her mother did live here in Baltimore, but she went to Pennsylvania to have her daughter, and she came back. Now, she lived at 219 South Durham Street.
I know that.
She moved around a lot because she was trying to outsmart the truant officers because her daughter, Eleanor, wouldn't go to school. She stayed out of school many days. So in 1925, at the age of 10 or 11, Eleanor started singing at the whiskey and brothel joints down in Fells Point.
Okay.
So one night, Christmas Eve, 1926, her mother comes home and Eleanor's being raped by one of her boarders. So it was a traumatic experience for her. She started acting out. And her mother couldn't handle it, so she sent her away to House of Good Shepherd, which was a reform school. And so when she got out, she found out her mother had moved. Guess where she moved? Next door to 217 Durham Street. So now her mother decided she was going to start a restaurant, and she started a restaurant on Argyle Avenue. And then she started another one down on Pennsylvania Avenue during the height of the entertainment era. And around 13 or 14, she started singing in the clubs. Now, her mother's restaurants didn't succeed, so she moved to Harlem, New York. And being so Eleanor was 14, she had to go with her. So she never called Baltimore her home again after that when she moved to Harlem.
Okay.
And so in 1971, the city decided they wanted to erect a statue on Pennsylvania Avenue. And that was 71. They didn't even get an artist until 6 years later in 77. The artist's name was James Early Reed. He was a University of Maryland art student. And because of the disputes between the cost of the payments and for the materials and all of that, he never really finished it. But once he finished it, it was unveiled, get this, 8 years later in 1985. Now,
Wow.
but it was put on Pennsylvania Ave, but it had this little base to it. So the city decided they were going to donate some money and put it on a nice pedestal and everything. That was 14 years later in 2009. So the new base came in 2009. So Eleanor at 18 is 1933 or so. She decides she's going to make a record up in New York. That was her first album. And that's the time she changed her name. And whether you know it or not, her first name she got from a white silent movie star named Billy Dove. And she took her first name, and Holiday was her father's last name. He was never in her life. Why she used his name, we don't know. But she goes on to be one of the greatest and most famous jazz artists of our time.
Yes.
One of her, very famous songs we all know is Strange Fruit.
Yes.
And, about lynching and Jim Crow in the South. And the residents of Durham Street, they decided that Baltimore wasn't celebrating her enough. So on her 100th anniversary in 2015, they decided all to get together with the Fells Point Association and the Billie Holiday Project to put together an art project to celebrate her. They've done painted screens in their windows. The artists have beautiful murals that they've created, ceramic art displays. They've worked with the kids in the neighborhood to develop murals with the gardenias that she was famous for in her hair. And they have block parties. They've installed diamonds in front of her house. And, I invite all of y'all to sometime, even during the pandemic, it's something you can do with a mask on. Ride through or walk through the 200 block of Durham Street and take in this art-studded project.
Gina, good point there. I'm gonna have to check into that. You know, when I think of Billie Holiday, really good point. When I think of Billie Holiday, I don't know why I always think that she was Diana Ross. Diana Ross played that part so much, so well. We thought that was the real Billie Holiday. Diana Ross was Billie Holiday. We didn't know. And when I think about Billie Holiday, all I think about is Pennsylvania Avenue. I've walked by that statue 5 million times. But our producer, Donnie Glover, Be More Black USA.news, across the street, it has a area right there next to the school. It looks like the outside of a movie theater. But what happened was a while back when Donnie was getting started doing this thing, they were advertising his works there. He had his name up there, Donnie Glover, BeMoreNews.com. And by him being my friend, I used to just look at it, ride down there to see him actually get to the point where he was being recognized by what he was doing. That was something that he put up. Do you know that's the first time I ever noticed when I turned around that the Royal Theater Monument?
Yeah, yeah.
Back in the day, Donnie, when he was just now starting to be Donnie Glover, was recognized there at the Royal Theater Monument. His name was up there. And I used to look up because it was cool. You see Donnie Glover up there, Be More News. That's me. I know him. You don't know him. Yes, I do. Well, that was him being recognized at the Royal Theater Monument. And that's when one day I turned around and looked and saw Billie Holiday's statue right there. Come find out, that statue had been there for years, and I never knew. So sometimes you got to read. All right, y'all, we winding ourselves down. If you don't know, this is our time. We go around the horn and do our thing. Closing thoughts, Twala Muhammad.
Stay safe and keep your neighborhoods clean.
Closing thoughts, CC.
Vote, vote, vote. Tell your family, tell your friends to tell their family. Get out and vote.
Closing thoughts, Gina Lee.
That you can safely enjoy your city as long as you have a mask on and take your sanitizer with you.
Closing thoughts, Karen Tate.
Take care of the children.
Closing thoughts, Nikki.
Don't be scared. Go get that money.
Al, take us home.
Stay safe, wear your mask, and please wash your hands.
Hey, closing thoughts, Maurice. Do not judge people unless you know their story. Stop carrying a bunch of confusion and a bunch of gossip. Because if me and this panel sit together and talk about each other, the panel will sit together later and talk about me. The same people, we know them at the job, Al and Cece we work with, when they sit in a circle and say, you know what, I was just saying, that person ain't no good, that person ain't no good. That one of them will get up and go to the bathroom and they'll talk about one of them that was just sitting right here. Don't you know y'all was just talking about them, you snakes? You snakes. All right, y'all, let's bring it home to our esteemed person, Donnie Glover, that put all this together for us. BlackUSA.news, BeMoreNews.com. To the panel, hands up to another great show. Hands up to another great show. Hands up to another great show. We gave you different information this evening. Once again, y'all, I always take us home with one of the greatest songs that I know. Take advantage of any opportunity you have. I want everybody to know this is not a black show. This is not a white show. This is an informative show. Take advantage of your stuff. One of the best people I know that was a rapper is Eminem. And he has a song, and it's one of my favorites. And it talks about me. It says, you got to lose yourself. In the music, the moment, you got to own it. Y'all never let it go. I only got one shot. I did not miss my chance or blow. I'm Party Marty. Let's Talk was my opportunity. And it only came once in a lifetime, yo. Good night, everybody, to the panel. Good night, Twala. Good night, Cece. Good night, Gina. Good night, Nikki. Good night, Karen. Good night, Al. Good night, Donnie. Good night, John Boy. Good night, everybody. Thanks for a good show.
Good night, everybody. God bless.
All right.
God bless.
Peace and blessings.
See you Tuesday.